February. Say, and you may, Yene Mobaya Bobo Kakra about your mind Ghana. Na, and your Honorable Joseph Penka, Deputy Attorney General and Member of Parliament for Tempane constituency in Upper East Region. And I didn't be a program. Now, you better canoma be brave about Ghana. And I also near the background information kakra dear man could join politics. Say yeah, young people ebano. Or which besun be a free norm so Edia here or more abrabo. Welcome, Honorable.
Thank you, my brother. Thanks for having me in your studio, and thanks to all your very nice crew and everybody else here in the studio and without the studio. I'm very grateful for the opportunity this evening.
Thank you. Now, Mipacho, what by you by UK? Now, how has your trip been so far?
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for the opportunity once again. Yes. I actually got in on Sunday and had a program at Cambridge.
Okay.
And I drove straight there for 4 days at Jesus College. And it was purposely on economic crimes across the world. So we deliberated for 4 days, and I came back to London yesterday. And God willing, I'll be leaving tomorrow for Accra.
Oh wow, a short trip.
So it's a short trip, and I have to attend the bar conference which will open in Takoradi on Sunday. So it's a very packed program for me. But as I said, the journey from London to Cambridge and back to London was very successful, and I have come. My brother Ayoma has been on me since yesterday that I must attend upon the studio.
Okay.
And I assured him that I have never let down the media, and today was not going to be the first time. So I have come in respect and honor for your distinguished media house here, and then also to assure you that as His Excellency the President of the Republic of Ghana keeps telling us, you are a very important component of good governance, and we'll give you all the respect and honor to help us deliver.
Thank you.
Yes, please.
Thank you very much. Thank you for your beautiful and nice statement.
Thank you.
Thank you. And also, Yabeda Mr. Isa Ayumase for the support with all this process. Thank you. Now, for a person who a little bit about yourself in terms of your background and what made you go into politics.
Right. Again, thank you very much for the opportunity. A very brief introduction of myself. I'm not as young as you think. I have a very young face, but I'm 46 years of age.
Yes. You're still there.
I'm 46 years of age, and as I have indicated, I was a member of the government of President Kufuor. I was the district chief executive of the then Tempane district in 2008. And before then, I was twice an assemblyman and a presiding member of the assembly. So I started as an assemblyman. Later, I became the presiding member, the district chief executive. And then in 2016, for the first time in the history of our democracy, I won that seat in the name of the New Patriotic Party. It has never happened. And I had to turn a deficit of about 5,000 plus and to win with a gap of about 3,000. So it was not an easy task, but I think that my years of commitment to my people was a reward for me to go to Parliament to represent them. I can tell you that my secondary education, I had everything at the northern part of Ghana. I did my secondary education at Boku Secondary and proceeded to do sixth form education in Ghana Secondary. First degree I did in Legon and went back to do the law there, and then went to the law school. And then I went back, I was practicing in a chamber called Afoko Talem and Associates in Bolga, and I was also practicing in Accra as well. And along the line, I was MPP's regional secretary for Upper East, and I worked very closely with then candidate Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo on a number of occasions, and he struck a very good acquaintance with me and developed a very deep liking for me. So when I won the seat, and he was coming around to do a tour, he met me and said, when Parliament agrees, he knows that I'll be Deputy Attorney General, and that I should go and prepare myself. It shocked me to the marrow, because at the time I was just about 7-8 years at the bar, and there were so many senior lawyers who could do the job and perhaps do it better than I. But I don't know why His Excellency the President decided I was going to be the person. And I think he hasn't regretted ever since he took that decision.
Yes.
So I have been in that office for close to 3 years. I've worked very closely with my minister and my colleague deputy, my minister, the Honorable Gloria Akufu. And I know that as we continue with the discussion, a lot of questions will come out to elicit from me some of the things that we are doing as a ministry. But I can tell you briefly that I come from that humble background in the Tempane district, a very small village called Kwikura, where I was born and then brought up to this particular level. So I can tell you that I have gone through the mill. Even in student life, I was an active member of TESCON. Okay. Then I recall that I was the assistant secretary of SRC when I was in Lagos. Okay. Then when I went back to do law, I was the what we call the chief justice of my hall, Akwafo Hall, in Lagos. You know, and then also when I went back to Upper East to do my service after first degree, I was the president of National Service Personnel Association and all that. I've been very active in the student front. So you got there through hard work? Yes, please. I committed myself to it. And then also, when I finished the first degree, about some 20 years ago, I went back to Bolga to teach in the girls' school. Okay. It was from there I went back to the law school, and I've since not regretted. And when I finished the law school, I didn't stay in Accra. I had to go back again. Yes. I've been all this while serving my people with all the commitment. Yes. And I was also surprised that when I declared my intention to contest, people abandoned partisanship and decided that they were going to elect me on merit, and people left their parties and came to join. And I had to clinch victory from a very difficult situation. As I indicated, I was an underdog in the 2016 election because the MP at the time was going into the election against the backdrop of the fact that in 2012, he won with a gap of 5,000 plus against the opponent who contested on the ticket of the New Patriotic Party at the time. And as I said, because all my life I have committed to serving my people, they duly rewarded me by overturning that deficit of 5,000 and giving me a gap of close to 3,000. Yes. So it was 13,500 or something. Yes, I mean 13,000. I've been reading about it. You read a lot. Yes, I've done it. You know, yes. And I think that it was one of the biggest surprises. Not surprising at all that the president himself, when we got to Accra at a meeting at Alisa Hotel, he particularly said it, that the party knew that we were going to win power. We knew we were going to have majority. But the party did not think about winning a seat like Tempane. Yes. You know, but it came. Why? Because, you know, it had been a long period of commitment to the people. And you see, when you commit yourself to the people, they will reward you. Yes. And they've asked that I go to represent them. So that if I do well, they will renew the mandate. And I know that I haven't disappointed them. As we go along, I know we'll expatiate some of these things. So in terms of your background, your advice to young people is commitment, hard work, and sacrifice. That's all about making a difference. Yeah, that's all about it. And that's the secret to the success I have chopped as of now. Yes. Because you see, I recall that when we finished the law school, the majority of my people who finished with me from the north didn't go back. Everybody preferred to be in Accra for greener pastures. Yes. I had to go up there and contribute my quota. And recall that a lot of the people there are very poor. Yes. So most of the cases I did were what we call pro bono, free of charge. Yes. I mean, you go and see travesty of justice in court, you stand up and speak for them, and then they appreciate whatever you are doing. But so it gives you a lot of experience. Absolutely, I agree. As of the time that I got the appointment, there were colleagues of mine who were mates in the law school who had not done a lot of cases in life that will give them a broader perspective testing and challenging because they were always their skills with their seniors. Yes. I went there and risked. I took it upon myself to learn it the hard way. Yes. I made all the mistakes and I got all the results. Yes. And the president spotted me. And I mean, no any other ministry, but the justice ministry that he appointed. That was the biggest surprise, as I told you. Yes. But I knew that he saw something in me, and I have acted to vindicate the confidence he reposed in me. Yeah, the hard work in you. Yes, I would say, hard work. Now, Uber high, a lot of young people say, now, hobbies in your interest outside of politics. Well, I am a fanatic of football.
Oh, yeah, that's
A
good.
football fanatic, and I support.
Play or watch it?
I watch and I play.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
In Ghana, I support House of Oak.
Wow,
and in England, I support Chelsea.
Oh, okay.
That's my team.
But maybe a phobia, but
the Blues.
We Arsenal, yes.
Those are my teams, and
Yes.
I love football so much.
Okay.
I play football all through my elementary school. I was playing in the school team. But when I got to secondary school, I committed so much to academic work that I did not have time for football. I used it only as a part-time job, and so I have loved football. It's one of my best games that I love. And then sometimes when I'm in the village, I love to play the local ORA game.
Okay.
With my people. I also enjoy that one.
I understand it relaxing.
Absolutely.
Yes, it's good.
It gives you relaxation and all that. So that's how I spend my leisure.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. Now, Ubano, say your listeners, some are academics, some are not.
Yes.
No, people say, Deputy Attorney General and MP for Tempane. The role pan is saying one tiasi or deputy or see look right here. And you know, can you tell us a bit about your role?
Thank you very much.
To our listeners, right?
You know, we have our ministry is the only one that is established by the Constitution. All other ministries are creations supported by constitutional provision only to the extent that the president uses his discretion. But the president does not have a discretion as far as the Ministry of Justice is concerned. That one is in Article 88 of our Constitution. That the Ministry of Justice and Attorney General is the official legal representative of the government. And then it initiates all criminal proceedings in Ghana. And recently we did an amendment to give a certain portion of it to the Office of Special Prosecutor. Now, the Ministry of Justice and Attorney General has two deputies. My colleague, Godfred Yebo-Adami, is in charge of civil litigation. And I am in charge of criminal litigation. So the criminal cases aspect, I am deputy in the ministry there, and I've been designated to be in charge of that. So we initiate the criminal processes, of course, superintended over by the Minister of Justice and Attorney General herself, the Honorable Gloria Kufu, who has been doing so well as the head of that ministry. So as I've indicated, I am specifically responsible for that. And the second role I play is also legislation. The majority of the bills, in fact, all bills come to us for drafting. There's a section in the Ministry of Justice called the drafting unit. So all the bills initiated by the various ministries come there for us to review them before we send them to Parliament. In addition, there are certain specific legislations that are actually drafted by us, initiated by us. After it's gone through cabinet, we send it to Parliament. And so I go to Parliament to represent the ministry when these bills are being debated to be passed to law.
Okay.
So there are so many of them since we came into office that we've dealt with. Even one of them which has helped us to fight corruption has been the Office of the Special Prosecutor. And I was the officer responsible, the deputy minister responsible for ensuring that we went to the US to study their system. And then we came back in Parliament. I represented the ministry throughout the deliberations on that till it was passed to law. And so many others, the Companies Act of 2019, the same thing. I represented the ministry looking at it. The Whistleblowers Act, I looked at it with, as a representative of the ministry. And apart from the Whistleblowers Act, I also looked at the many other legislations that came up to be passed to law. Okay, and then you know of the most controversial that gave media the freedom, right to information.
Yes.
You know, again, I led it on behalf of the ministry. It's now law in our country. Quite a number of legislations I've lost count of have been passed into law. After it has gone through all the processes, you must be there to provide a policy direction argument on the floor of Parliament at all times until it is passed into law. And I did exactly that. So I have performed, if you like, two major dual roles. Litigation in terms of criminal cases, and then also what I do in Parliament by way of legislation for and on behalf of the Ministry of Justice and Attorney General. Broadly speaking, these are the two that I do. But I also perform administrative functions as far as the office is concerned.
We are very busy with job, you know.
Extremely.
Your time management have to be good.
Extremely busy.
To be able to meet deadlines near there, which is very good. Now, you best have the office of the prosecutor as well, Martin Amidu, at some point. But sadly, we did be a Busawaha, a studio, a Busan say, because we have listeners around the world, and many of them are still undecided in terms of who to vote for. In your view, you know, say, what do you have to say to NDC and MPP voters? Say, what they have to do? Say, Omuntuma MPP. Would you have anything to say to convince people? Say, well, Nanado is your administration will need another term to move on, and reasons why.
Thank you very much, my brother. I think that this is the core of my presence, even though I have given you an explanation as to a few things. But you see, I always say that the lizard that falls from the top of the Iroko tree says that if nobody praises it, it will praise itself.
Yeah.
You see, His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo took over the reins of government to meet a very precarious economic situation. In fact, that is now beyond debate. The situation on the ground was so precarious that he had to put in place certain measures to ensure that we came out of the woods. Now, you recall that at the time, inflation was at the skies. He had to fight that to bring it down. Interest rates were at the skies. People could not afford school fees for their children to go to school. Agric was at the lowest. Okay? And you know the mainstay of our economy as a country is agric. So what did he do as a visionary president? He introduced through the Ministry of Food and Agriculture the policy of planting for food and jobs. Millions of people have actually been involved in this over the years. And he has subsidized fertilizer. Now, let me state this, and I'm speaking to the world on camera.
Yes.
My village, or my constituency, I went home about 6 weeks ago, and something very strange happened. And I said it in Accra when I came back.
Okay.
The planting for food and jobs has yielded so much results that foodstuffs cost very low prices to afford. Hitherto, poor people couldn't get food, and anytime we went home, people came to us to plead with us as MPs to assist them. This time round, you go to the village, if they want any assistance, it is not food.
Mama was recently, on the 2nd of September, was saying that the people are in hardship.
You see, if he doesn't say that, how will he get the votes? He wants to be president again. But the reality of that, the people he's speaking to, if you go to my village and look at the people in their faces and tell them that they are experiencing hardships and excruciating hardships at that, they are going to mock at you. Because look, you know what? In my village, it was the practice that in September, when children are going to school, senior high school, people sell their only bulls and bullocks. All right, their sheep, their goats, guinea fowls, to be able to sponsor these children to go to school. Some of them, you will have a family that 2 bulls are providing for their livelihood. They use them to plow their lands, and then they sell that and the children go to school. Someone has come and he's saying that no more payment in the senior high school. So that cow you were going to sell, you are now going to use it to plow and get some food for the family. Then you tell them, you look at that person in his face and tell him that he's suffering. When under your regime, that person had to sell cattle to make sure the children went to school. So that statement he made, for me, to be very candid with you, and I don't want to sound harsh because he's not here to defend himself.
Yes.
He did not say the truth. That's not the true situation on the ground.
So your view is that he's telling he's not.
He was economic with the truth. I don't want to say that he lied.
Okay.
Because that's impolite. He was economic with the truth. You see, again, I was talking about agric, and I've given you the bumper harvest we have experienced across the country. I've looked at this free senior high school I'm talking about. See, apart from these two, he has put in place a lot of measures to ensure that at the tertiary level, students are not also exploited.
Okay.
Okay? And of course, the evidence is there for all to see. Quite a number of interventions have been put in place. If you look at the youth employment program, it's been empowered, and thousands of youth have actually been engaged in different models of the youth employment to be able to what? Reduce unemployment to the barest minimum. Again, you heard of NAPCO.
Yes.
For graduates, the first batch of 100,000 were recruited last year. And they are paid monthly. It may not be enough, but it has gone a long way to reduce unemployment. Under His Excellency Mahama, what was the alternative? That was non-existent. So if he were president, that would not have been existent.
So
again,
in terms of employment, unemployment,
yes,
the MPP deals with it better,
far better,
better than NDC.
Of course.
In your
and the evidence is what I have given you. Okay. I'm not just speaking out of anywhere, but I'm giving you concrete evidence. One, NAPCO, I've mentioned the youth employment, I've talked about that. Last year alone, over 18,000 teachers were employed, new teachers were engaged. That hasn't happened in many years. Remember? And again, public sector, different departments. If you look at the local government ministry, so many young people have been engaged. Last year they were engaged, this year they've been engaged.
However, the NDC is saying that unemployment is high. And it's just lip service that the MPP is making it look like the people have jobs.
I beg you, you see, politicians, whenever we come before you, pin us to tell you the facts. But if we make general statements, or what we call omnibus statements, and we get away with it, then of course you're not doing yourself any good. If they ask you that there's growing unemployment in Ghana, if they tell you that there's growing unemployment in Ghana, ask one question. The interventions of MPP, including NAPCO, the public sector recruitment we have done, and then the youth employment engagement we have done, compared to what they did, which of us has the numbers in terms of employment? The answer will be emphatic, that we have the numbers. You see, there was a complete freeze of public sector engagement under them. So we have come and we've managed to get out of the woods, and we have engaged thousands. So in order for them to be projecting what they failed to do, as they are doing now, they should join hands and hail His Excellency Nanado for bringing employment. Look, again, you recall that the former president said that he was prepared to lose election rather than restoring nurses and teacher trainee allowances.
Yes.
He said so. He lost. His Excellency Nanado has restored it. And they are benefiting. Look, I have a lot of constituents who have received their allowances, and this year they are not applying to me to give them support from my MP's common fund. Why? Because they have been given allowances. Some of them have been able to use those allowances to pay their fees and to take care of themselves in school. If you compare the government of the NDC that passed and the current government, which of us is for the poor? If we have restored teacher trainee allowance, nurses trainee allowance, we've restored and we are paying, we've actually introduced NAPCO, and we are engaging so many in the public sector. Which of us is helping to reduce unemployment? You see, there is the political statement that you can make, but there is also the reality. And political statements made without facing the reality, you will meet a very hard rock on the campaign field when you go to tell the people that you cancel their allowances and froze their employment, that the one that has restored the allowances and has employed them should be removed, and you will be brought back to come and reverse the clock of progress. That would be a very funny situation. So, I mean, I don't expect His Excellency former President to praise MPP, because then what would be the reason why he should be elected? So definitely he will do that. But the discerning people of Ghana will make a choice. And the choice they will be making will be between the realities of today and what happened yesterday. They have had an opportunity to be governed by the two. The former president had 4 years. He had earlier gotten 6 months after the death of the former president and got 4 years. His Excellency Nanado has gotten 4 years. At the end of the 4 years, the people will be in a position to evaluate the two and to come out with which of them really impacted on the lives of Ghanaians.
Thank you. Thank you very much. In fact, Wama, a very good analysis, and we have NDC listeners as well, and I think at some point they may want to ask some questions. With the deep heart, I'm sorry to be bringing you back to memory lane. You know, we are so sorry about your wife. You know, I'm so sorry to be bringing you back to, and you know, may his soul rest in perfect peace. I remember in 2016 how you lost your wife as a result of no bed syndrome.
Well,
yeah, no bed syndrome. And
I wish you didn't remind me this evening, because
yes,
the third anniversary will be on Sunday.
On Sunday? Oh,
just
wow.
2 days from today.
Oh, I'm really
the
sorry.
The third anniversary will be on Sunday. It was a day I don't want to remember, but I keep on saying one thing, that may the good Lord provide a resting place.
Yeah.
But you see, this particular one...
hold on, please.
Okay.
Please, can you call in the next 15 minutes, please? Yeah?
All right.
15 minutes from 15. Thank you.
Okay.
Call us, sorry, Honorable. Call us if anybody want to call from the next 15 minutes, please. Thank you. Okay.
It was a very sad day.
Sad day.
You know,
I'm asking this for a reason, or me for a reason.
I'll get there.
That's it.
You know, I had gone with her to Accra. In fact, we were campaigning.
Yes.
She was the bedrock of my campaign. In fact, she was the bedrock of my campaign.
Wow.
And when we were campaigning, we got tired and we decided to come to Accra and then travel out of Ghana, take a rest, and come back to continue with the campaign. We came in the night, in the early morning, she got up to have a bath and she was struck by a massive stroke. And within 24 hours, I lost her. It's an experience that I don't want to recall.
Yes.
But you've brought about it, and I think that it also reminds me of one thing: policy failure as a country.
Anything I may mention, you know.
Policy failure.
Yes. Anything I may mention this, you know. Antina Mishas, you know, me say, we are so sorry to be bringing you back to memory lane.
Yeah.
And we are sorry about your wife, and with a heavy heart, you know. May soul rest in perfect peace, and we give her heart. But what we are saying is that what I would like to talk about, you know, and he said, what do you call so many hospitals?
Sure.
You know, oh, and now you was campaigning and going around various hospitals in terms of policy. But maybe question is say, the who experience it with your family, you know. Is it still there? And I say, has that problem sorted? Anything that man be sad?
Well, I think that it has recurred in the past again. See, the sad situation is that in some hospitals, and I think that, I mean, I made a statement on the floor of Parliament about this.
Yes.
See, the sad situation is that sometimes in certain hospitals, you won't believe it. There will be beds, yet you get there and they say there are no beds.
Why?
It's incredible. It's just incredible. Because look, if we had a national emergency on the said day, what would have happened? On the 8th of September 2016. Look, first, on my way to a private hospital with my wife, we were told that it was full. Now, so we called 37. They told us not to come. It was full.
Wow.
So we moved straight to Kolebu. And that was from Spintex Road. We got to Kolebu, and the nurse who met us at the gate wouldn't even see which patient was in there to find out what was happening. Straight away, no bed.
Oh.
We pleaded with her, she wouldn't listen.
I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah.
We moved from Kolebu, went to Trust, there was no bed. From Trust, we went to our last point, and imagine, you know, stroke, for example, within the first 5 hours, if you get medical care, you can survive.
Yes.
It took us more than 6 hours before we got medical care.
Wow.
So it happened around, I think, the hours of 6 and 7. And we finally got a bed.
Please call us
at about 3.
Call us, please. We are not taking calls until the next 10 minutes. Please.
At about 3 that we got a bed. Almost 4 o'clock. And by then, it had gone too bad. And even at that place, at Ridge, they said there was no bed. But I had to plead with them, and they had to readjust to be able to admit her. We lost her the following morning.
Oh, sorry to hear.
When I was making the statement on the floor of Parliament, I actually said that, contributing to that statement, I said that, look, we must legislate and exact penal consequences for any health person who fails to take care of a patient leading to the person's death, so that the person could even be charged with manslaughter.
Or serious
yes, manslaughter. Because look,
injury.
These things have happened over the period. I recall that last year, a similar incident occurred. And that was what triggered the statement that came about in Parliament. One man had to go to about 5 referral hospitals and there was no bed.
Wow.
You know, so we must, as a country, change our mentality. And Mr. Speaker has directed that a law be crafted in line with that.
But with your position,
and we are going to do that.
With your position and influence, you know, can't you do anything to change this?
We are going to do a legislative amendment and introduce penal consequences for any health person who will engage in similar circumstances leading to loss of life, so that it will stop. Because there are no consequences for it, it continues. And as I said,
why do they do that? Is it because of corruption, bribe, or pay scanner?
You see, I'm not able to be in the mind of people. But I don't know.
Because the hospital is not food.
After you have sworn an oath to take care of people's lives, the next moment you see somebody in distress and you have no love for that person, breaching your own oath that you took. So I think that one of the issues that we are contending with is attitude now. Attitudes of persons. Because we live in a country where most of the things that happen that are of criminal consequences, we say Fama Nyami. Fama Nyami. That concept is what is deepening this. We are inherently religious. And because of that, we have allowed people to escape responsibility.
So yeah, say, instead of using rules, policy, regulation, yes,
absolutely.
That's
exactly. In fact, for me, the fundamental one is this principle of famanyami. But also, we have influence sometimes, where I mean, they will go and tell your malam or your pastor to talk to you, to drop it, and then you should consider it to be the work of God. A lot of things have been attributed to God that he never thought of.
So is it all about our education system then?
I think also it's about our mentality, attitudes and mentality. Values systems.
Yes.
You see, here, when my brief visit, I've noticed something very unique about life in the UK.
Yeah.
You get to a zebra crossing. You walk the way you want to walk. And all the vehicles give you the way.
Yes.
Try that in our country.
There will be
an obituary of you the following day. Try it.
Yes.
Because it is attitude. We simply don't obey basic rules. And look, His Excellency the President himself, he said it in his State of the Nation address last year and last 2 years. He said, what type of a country are we building? When it is raining, people are celebrating in their rooms. They wouldn't go to work because it is raining. When the weather is extremely cold, it's an excuse not to go to work. We cannot have such a nation. But and His Excellency the President said it in this, and he said we must change our attitudes.
Honorable, but the saying is this, that if you want to know how Ghanaians work, go to ministry's lifetime, then you will know.
Absolutely, I agree.
So who said ministry's lifetime, then you will know.
I said I agree.
You recall
that former president, His Excellency, former President Kufuor.
Yes.
He said something once upon a time. He said like Ghanaians are pretending to work and government is pretending to pay. That's what is happening. We are engaged in a very funny concert party show without painting our faces. Because, look, you have a situation where the fundamental things that we should get right for our nation to be at the skies in terms of development, we're not getting it. Not because leadership is not doing their best, but because we simply don't want to change our attitudes.
Resistance to change.
We are so repellent and resistant to it that sometimes we build a barrier so impregnable to cross when somebody is bringing change. Look, His Excellency Nana Addo has declared a lot of things that he will not tolerate, laziness at work, and that productivity must be commensurate with pay, and etc., and etc. But unfortunately, he's not going to be able to be at the various offices.
Yes.
Leadership in the various offices will have to ensure that success. Look, as I was telling you, we came for a conference on economic crime. All those who came for this program are prosecutors, lawyers in the office of the Attorney General to build capacity.
Yes.
We came with state sponsorship to build capacity, economic crimes, because it's becoming complex. A lot of the cases that we are currently in court with are economic crimes. So they bring you for such a very laudable program. You come and study, you go, but you have to impact. But you don't go and keep everything in your pocket and sit and watch what you left to deteriorate. So we must ensure as a people that we act and act appropriately. Whatever you are given as a duty to do, you carry it out.
But if they don't, the issue is it not about skills? Does the people have those skills? We are asking them. It's easy to say this, don't do this, don't do that. Do the person himself, in terms of his management of skills, in terms of what he learned, because anybody be brain, or degree, but the actual experience is not there. And who is going to train this? And who supervises these areas of work?
All the budgets that we have approved, the various departments, agencies, and ministries, there's always a component for training, staff training, and all that. There's a component for that, and we approve it. So you are entitled to train your staff if you think that they are deficient in one way or the other. But if you don't, and then productivity is low, or you are not able to meet targets, and remember that His Excellency has given us targets in the various ministries. If you are not able to meet it, consequences will follow.
They should start implementing what we call a league table.
Of course.
So the league table will say, for example, the police station in Nima, and then the police station in, say, Dansoman. Now, the one in Dansoman, how many people they were able to arrest? How many people crime committed there in terms of statistics? You or you lower or that one. You penny free. If you continue, then they will demote you. In that way, competition will come, and all the civil servants can adopt that system. There is a lot of system we can talk about.
I agree with that. Yes, I agree with that. But that's why, you see, it may not have been published. But the ministry, department, and agencies, for example, the president assesses us all the time, and he has the results. So if he's not satisfied, he knows. Only that you may not have it published. And that's why we now have a ministry of monitoring and evaluation. So that is the duty of that ministry. They will evaluate and monitor your targets and all that to find out whether you are progressing or retrogressing, or you are being static. If you are progressing or retrogressing, it is for the president to decide what to do. If the
president should not come in. They should have someone or higher.
But the decision as to appointment and disappointment of ministers is only the president who can do it. That's what I mean.
Yes.
So that if you are not performing, he can disappoint you.
Yes.
And then bring in someone else. Because you see, it's like football. If you have a number 6 who is not stopping the people from advancing to your territory and all that, he's not performing his role.
Like
you have to get him out.
Makelele.
Exactly. You have to get him out. Jorginho is, he's not performing his role. Get him out. And then maybe you bring Kanti to come and stop.
Yes.
That's how it's supposed to be. The president is like a coach. At every point in time, he wants to score the goals. And any player who is not assisting him to achieve that must give way to others. And that's the basic thing. So I can tell you that under His Excellency the President, after the 4 years, for me, I have no doubt in my mind that where we are now and where we will be by the end of next year, a lot of progress would have been made.
Now, we saw about hospital in India, and I'm sorry. So, Masadi will come back there. A number of commentators was asking me, say, most MPs, I mean, this has been the history of Ghana or most African countries, I would say. Say, member of parliaments normally will go to abroad for medical checkups. Or not only the hospitals now Ghana, no, you should be. No, to say a wife situation here by happy, also call around when your baby are. Oh, MP no, so when you sue a volunteer, only the no attract no only the family. It is the best you on. Do you think said we should have a system said why no? Because we have been encouraged said we should use homegrown products, homegrown things. But yes, our leaders are not using these homegrown products and using abroad. Is there a system I'm moving to maybe about it?
First, let me issue this disclaimer that me, as an MP and a deputy minister, I've never sought medical attention outside Ghana.
That's
with
good.
my family. Yes. Never ever. In fact, I patronize our local hospitals, and that is what I do with my family.
Yes.
And I have no regrets at all. You see, that practice is an affront to us. As a country, if you are sick and you can't seek medical attention in your country, and the ordinary people who gave you their tomb will go and seek medical attention in there, then of course you should be ashamed of yourself. Why? Because they cannot afford to travel abroad for treatment.
Yes.
So if you think that you have to go outside for treatment and they cannot afford it, then you create a certain difference between yourself and those people. A lacuna, a very big gap between yourself and those people. And when you go back there to ask their mandate, I think they have the right to overwhelmingly reject you. So you have to patronize our local systems so that we will improve on those facilities. Look, if we don't improve upon the facilities, we can do anything. If you have an emergency that needs about an hour or two to handle, you cannot travel to London in 2 hours. You understand?
Yes.
So if you may think that you have a situation where maybe it's about you have 2-3 days so you can travel to London and seek care and all that. How about a situation where it's just within an hour that you need treatment? You cannot be flown here within an hour. So we must make, or go to South Africa. You must make our own facilities there, I mean, up to speed. Modern facilities, even just in the last 1 week, you've seen that the hardworking Minister of Finance himself, he signed certain agreements to supply equipment to certain hospitals in the country and all that, and equipment. You know, until recently, even DNA, we used to do it in South Africa. Now we have it in Ghana.
Which is good.
Yes.
Yeah, positive. Yeah.
You know, a number of facilities that were not existent, now we have them. And then our health situation is also improving. So that your concern you are raising is a very genuine one. And any person who takes us on the basis of the fact that when we fall sick, we fly ourselves out with our families and we don't patronize, that person is right. And I think that all of us have to stop that practice. If we think that the situation on the ground is not good for us, let's improve it so that all of us will benefit.
Thank you. Good. Now, on the 16th of March 2018, we remember making this statement for the people of Tempane. Say, for them to unite in diversity, to shame your enemies and bring development to Tempane. Since you've been voted, you know, in that constituency, you know, or area, no? Yes. Have you been able to achieve that?
Well, thank you very much. And I'm going to make very emphatic statements here. First, in the whole of Upper East, I have the highest number of roads under construction as we speak.
Okay.
And it's because of the policy of lobbying. The highest number of roads under construction in the Upper East, in any single district, is Tempane.
Wow.
In addition, the basic necessity of life there that they need so much is water. They don't have potable water in most of the communities. So I've embarked on a policy of getting them over 100 hand-fitted pumps. And then we're also doing 6 small town water systems for them. Apart from that, 40 communities have been approved to be connected to the national grid. 20 of them turnkey, the other 20 local contractors. So that's electricity, roads, and water. Now, in the last 2 years, 6 school blocks are under construction. And we intend to again start another 6 before this year ends.
Okay.
School blocks. That's education. Now we introduced the free senior high, and the only senior high school in my constituency, which is Tempane Senior High School, was experiencing a lot of crowd in dormitories.
Okay.
Okay, so the dormitories were crowded, the students were suffering and all that. So what did I do as an MP? I went to lobby the Minister of Education. 2 new dormitories have been fully completed. And then in the next 1 month, they will be commissioned. Again, 9-unit classroom block there. And another one, dormitory and then classroom block, has been awarded and the contractor is moving to site. That's the senior high. I've also been able to provide the senior high with street lights. If you get there, you will know it's a state of the art. The only senior high in there. So again, that is in terms of education. Now in terms of health, I lobbied and got a polyclinic for Tempane Central.
Okay.
And it's under construction as we speak, at a very advanced state. Then also I lobbied and got what we call the large stores that we've been constructed to store excess food harvested. Okay, so that's what we are doing. And then that project is also under construction. Then several markets, we've earmarked them for construction. Some have even, we have completed their projects.
It's like
within this period,
MP.
within this period that I'm speaking to the world.
Yes.
These are facts verifiable on the ground. Again, I realized that one fundamental thing that we need to get it right is education.
Yes.
So my common fund, I spend it, a chunk of it, sponsoring students.
Wow.
Okay, every year. So if you bring your fees, the least I give you is half of it.
Okay.
So that you are able to assist in getting the rest to go and pay your fees. Because if we have many more people educated in the area, they will contribute to the growth of the area. So education is a priority. So I'm sponsoring students, the nursing training, teacher training in the university.
Wow.
Okay, quite a number of them. In fact, this
the
year,
people of Tempane are listening.
yes, this year we are targeting 100.
Okay.
Last year we did have 120. This year we are targeting 100. You know, and in fact the 100 is my local sponsorship, but central government is doing 50. So that one we've already submitted the list. So that will be about 150 tertiary.
Wow. Wonderful.
That will go a long way to help us fight poverty. You know, the concept of let the people remain poor and exploit them must end.
Okay.
Some politicians thrive only when there is poverty, deprivation, and denial. So they get to the community and throw crumbs at them, and then they pick it up and vote for them. And it's all because of illiteracy.
And other
yeah, that's what I'm talking
when
about.
When election is coming up,
can you believe it? Can you believe it that in some communities, Maggi cube for soup is enough to get you vote?
Wow.
That's ridiculous. We must move beyond that. And that's why in my campaign I had stated that I am not going to be able to supply fish to anybody because I want to assist people to be fishermen. If I assist you to get a good education and get a good job, you will take care of your parents. How long and sustainable is it to go and buy Maggi cube and go and buy salt and pepper to go and distribute to people for votes? How sustainable is that? For me, that is an insult to the integrity of the people you are giving it to.
It's true.
So I see education as a tool. And remember, if you go to YouTube and Google, you will find my vetting in Parliament. When I was vetted as a Deputy Attorney General, one of the senior MPs made a comment. He said, look, he had no question for me. His reason was that from where I came and had reason to become Deputy Attorney General, he wouldn't ask me any question.
Wow, wonderful.
And I think that I sit here today because of education. If not for that, I would not be made a Deputy Attorney General. So the only way I can give back to society is to make sure that I contribute my quota to the education of the younger ones so that together we can lift the image of the area. I can assure you that today in our parliament and in Ghana, Tempane has become a household name because by the kind grace of God, I represent my people and represent them well. On the highest platform of media discussion, news file, on Joy News, I represent government, I make my views known, and I make government's views known. So I can assure you that the good people of Tempane, not excluding my own brother, Issa Ayoma.
Issa Ayoma. He is very popular
here. Who is so solid behind this all the time.
And he worked very hard here.
He's so solid a person.
Yes.
I like to thank people like that.
Yes.
Who are always, encouraging me. So thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Caller, Ubetima Lowa radio, no I caller. Yo, Manin Kowai, yes, sir.
Joseph Pemka.
Okay, Mr. Joseph, Baba.
Madam.
Ojo, yeah.
Me ba choma something me can say. Many of the papa say na so bi Africa na ba na so Johnny amenyoko te say MPP na so ba na so cheche ni mama Ghana for my woman on the ati ase a na e ma hobo ko a say me join Osugbo party ohine na me ma nkwane ahoden say na wati bi nya ahoden na wa ba na cheche because any the phone no o ma tu fu Ghana for ni ame tuma o ke go frontier. And you may push down papa and I do in her. Maybe it is a wolf you hopper. That's a wood snap radio can see so a courier summer saying now. That's a wood check your name and some uncle for whom Atia. They me the fighting a miss out. They don't papa more yet. They won't cry, mamma say. And one of we are more question and name home. I never could be having me MPP. We are so go back. Another lady. We didn't want to papa and I did be having. And he's saying, you know, then. Honorable Kojo Tempane, Kojo, Babakata. Aha, but still no, and in the behind. The high they said, Tama, what one was Wabano. It is some Ghana for you. Saying no man is for discovery. It is in a couple of my acquaint a bar, a virtual matter. And if I see a children will go to you, I did the session. Woman would never be at the fire at home. Obi I must better one chain. And it's a fuck up, but they mustn't better one chain. We are from for much one chain. As you see, an idea that the Obi is so good at black. What you mean is the kind of good clam for washing base. And Mr. Capra or the body motion. It is design. Some of one in and more. Obi is expert than Mohammed Mia. Ah, or more or two no. On Yama, Metric Bank put a fool and not to be what is Yama, and if I'm going to deposit for more romantica, only yes, can finish your come. Oh, yeah, I'm one the down here, the one of life. It's easy to point out, no, eh, but she am Montier Ray, Montier Ray. Can I know for some of us my buying? For some of us my buying. One promise is some of the paper court. I'm a lady, and some more kind, you know, is away. Institute is the end before the boy chairman and I don't name away in Nayagu. I don't have possible. Yes, I have police me. Yes, I have.
Yeah, that was it.
Me too, come out. We people need it. Man, to the point side. I will check for any happy.
Yo, yeah, that was it. Yeah, that was it.
Attorney General, Emra.
Yes.
Emrana, yeah, Juma. And yeah, military rule due. So, in the circumstances of the matter, let the rule of law work.
Yes.
That's what we want as a country. At the end of the day, you will see the results. You see, it's maybe people are not following events. For the first time in our history since '92, the highest number of prosecutions. You are aware that a high-profile case known as the NCA case is in court.
Yes.
And for the many that are coming up, I'm not going to talk about that. NCA is in court. The state has ended its case. The accused persons have been asked to open their defense. That's the National Communications Authority.
Yes.
A number of people are being tried for causing the loss of over $5 million to the state. In excess of $60 million. Are you with me?
Yes.
Now, Venture Capital Trust. They are in court. Several, organizations by government. The former boss, along with others, are in court. Several millions of Ghana cedis. These are 4 major cases. Millions of dollars. But you see, the focus that people are looking at is otherwise we are likely to run into persecution of freedoms of our people. It's incumbent on us to go in a cautiously. If you rush, you will crash. I want everybody to be patient and let us go through the process. Okay?
Yes.
An accused person is not a convict. And even if he's a convict, you cannot treat that anything you do. After all, you see, in life, do to others what you yourself like others to do unto you.
Yes.
Because we may not be in power forever. So if we don't use due process, are we saying that when we get out of power, we allow monsters to eat us up? We must go through due process.
Well, last week, the MPP, the NDC, and the MPP was here debating, talking about it. But what the NDC is saying is that if they come to power, they will arrest. MPP falling in our house. Who have evidence and you don't do it, they will do it.
Oh, but I'm giving you a lot of
yes, I know
cases that are in court.
Yes.
And there are quite a lot that will come very soon that you hear. But you see, what the person is saying, and with all respect and salutation to the person, he was expressing crass ignorance.
Yes.
Because you see, if you arrest a person, there must be a basis for the arrest. Remember the stance. Why you are arresting him. And you must what? Follow it up with investigations to build a docket. And then you present the person to court. The guilt or otherwise will be based on the evidence adduced at the trial. The person who made that statement, when His Excellency former President left office, former President Kufuor, one of the campaign messages of the then government, the Atamil's government, before they came to power, was that the government of His Excellency Kufuor was corrupt. That was one of their campaigns they used. They won power in 2008. Tell me one conviction, one. If you give me two, that's too much. One conviction that they had. None. So if you come and sit here, you can blow cold and hot. And incite people. And excite yourself. But in the end, reality will catch up with you.
Yes.
And you begin to scratch your head. And I don't want to belong to that category of people.
Yes.
I can assure you that I am not a judge, but I'm a prosecutor. At the end of the first term of His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo's office, issues would have been brought to rest. Corruption, the discussion on it, who is corrupt and who is not corrupt, would have been brought to rest.
Now, institutions, I mean, there is a lot being said about institutions making Mr. Martin Amidu's work very difficult. Many institutions are refusing to comply with laws designed to ensure good governance and to protect the national affairs. They refuse to cooperate with the investigation and information sharing. And this is making his investigation very difficult. And man, in your position, or what can your team do to help this process?
Well, I have told the Venerable Martin Alamisi Amidu that as a lawyer, you have an alternative. If somebody is a hindrance, you go to court and compel the person.
Yes.
I mean, that's why we have the court system. If I ask you to produce a document and you are not ready to do it, the Right to Information Act mandates you to do it. If you don't, we go to court to compel you. At the risk of imprisonment, if you fail to do it, comply. So we have all the laws in Ghana that will compel you to provide the evidence needed to prosecute a matter. So for me, I have not encountered any such situation. If I do encounter it as a prosecutor, I'll go to court and I'll make sure that I get you compelled by an order of court at the risk of contempt and imprisonment for you to produce such a document so we could do the prosecution. He may be bemoaning the situation, but you see, the human being, when given unfettered liberty, is likely to abuse it. So let the biting teeth of the law pierce hard at the flesh of such people. and they'll be compelled to provide the evidence needed to prosecute.
But when is police? For instance, the police has accused Mr. Martin Amidu has accused the directorate for failing to supply it with 2011 docket on a probe into embezzlement of 15 million oil deal.
Yes, that's the EO Group case.
Yes.
Yes.
You can almost see docket now. This is police, oh. This is Ghana police we depend on and trust.
I am very close to the police because I work with them daily. I'm due to, when I get to Ghana, I'm going to get in touch with the Director General of CID to ascertain the veracity or otherwise of this particular claim. Because from the story that we've all read, it's very clear that the docket is missing and the investigator of the matter is dead. And the docket can also be traced at the Attorney General's department. Now, assuming without admitting that this is true, it doesn't bring closure to the matter.
Yes.
Because you see, we have the principle that it is only when a case has been successfully brought to conclusion by a court that you can no longer litigate on the same facts. But once it hasn't gone to court, you can open fresh investigation into the matter. So if somebody is hiding anything, it will come up anyway. You understand? Because the players and actors in that matter are alive. It's just the investigator who is alleged to have died. I don't have any further evidence to that effect. But I can tell you that in order for us to fight, Martin Amidu can order the investigative division of the Office of Special Prosecutor to launch a full-scale investigation into that matter and bring all parties in it to come and answer. If he builds a docket, he should go ahead and prosecute. That is the essence of the Office of the Special Prosecutor, to make sure that corruption and corruption-related offenses are curtailed in our country, and that politicians and persons who are politically exposed do not get away with impunity.
I think that your office needs to do something about policing, in my view, and many commentators, or Mr. Issa Yuma will tell you that it has been a discussion here day in, day out about Ghana policing and the way the corruption bribery. Because if things like a docket can go missing at the head, which is the center of everything, then money had you kakra. Sorry, Pachawan and friend after friend.
Your friend Jeffrey, your friend Edmonton.
Me Pacho, question kakra bi bisa.
Pacho,
yo, Maninko, yes.
Good. Masimba specific bisa ye. Your radio station in Ghana, your phone Vision 1 FM. Nana your self program. Na a bunch of bet now so can say or group people Accra Tema. If you go home, Nipa or Omuchi and Ma Akuhonum, Niama Bibdomus, Nipa Pro, Kion Niama. Just what come up public in Unity, a biobiswamba, a because a chino, you be the look of your Americo Campono as a kidnap. Na, sir, a boya Tapa diggers, Yachina, prosecuting me. Now, one, but you, I must have one class again now, Cassam, now one and another with you open. Now, the person bisa Papa he said, "You almost is asking me that you open you one. Sorry,
yeah, well,
sorry,
yeah.
Sorry, Chief. Sorry,
yeah.
Honorable.
Yes,
Mr. Yes, the person bisa say, dear, you almost here. Now, dear, no more young home. Say, boy, now, or Timber no. Was why I ready. So, police informer, no, what if you know, near more home. Also, Nipa will lead your money or he be all Ghana. I was deeper. Doctors have Baho be a man abortion.
Thank you.
Good. You know, my brother, some of these things, when you have such information, is it even good to go on air?
Yes.
Then you arm the criminals to escape.
Run away.
You see, first of all, when you have such information, go to the nearest police station and report. Then the police will go and cordon off the area and do a search and rescue mission. So people who are there under captivity and unlawfully being held can be rescued. But if you go on air and make this, by the time you get there, they are already away from the place. So I have not heard of it. This is the first time I'm hearing of it. But I'll follow up. By the grace of God, tomorrow I'll get back to Ghana. And then if there is any authentic information about this particular thing that he's talking about, why not? We are going to follow up because we need leads.
Yes.
All over the world, police rely on leads.
Yes.
If you come and provide credible information, it will enable them, go for the criminals. And then when we weed them out, all of us will be freer.
Yes.
You see, so what he said is right. But I think that we have to also change our attitudes again. And when we have information about crime, we should make sure that appropriate security agencies are told about it on the quiet. So that they make
there should be adverts or things like that and educating the public to report more crimes. And I think it's one area your team can look at. Of course. You know, one area your team could look at. Say, na educating public about if even the government spend some money doing these things. I think it will help reduce crime.
Sure.
Sure.
We need to educate people because some people, they know of something that is going on somewhere, and instead of going to the police, as I've said, the next moment he makes a call to a radio station and all over, and then the people escape. So we need to educate the public. I agree with you, and this education has to be massively done, especially at the grassroots.
Yes.
Because I know where to report a matter if I have any information. Someone sitting somewhere does not know. Maybe the person went on radio because he had no alternative. He didn't know that there were other channels he could pass this very vital information.
And even the radio stations themselves. In fact, saying this, a lot of programs where people are in radio stations making complaints about churches.
Yeah.
Now, my question is, when we have churches, then we have voodoo men, then we have Insio, Mami Wata, all these things going on insane. Now, some of them no paying, no taxes or anything. And then they also abusing their church members and voodoo workers are abusing them. Is there a policy or a guidelines in place to stop all these churches, abusing these people in this way? Because this abuse is going on. And some even come out and say these things. And we know people like you who are in government will be able to take this back to the government to say, this is the voice, this is the cry of the people. And no one say no musum, friend. Oh, nipa bebre obi wa ni sika kakra bi ekura ni ade de na ni asaje. Bro,
our Ghana, one of our fundamental problems. We so much rely on miracles rather than hard work. And I say it without any sense of shame. We are relying so much on miracles rather than hard work. Overnight, you want to go and then a pastor will commission you to howl throughout, and by the time you get to the house, you have money in your pocket. How is that possible? Somebody makes you lie down, and the person steps on your tummy through to your head. And then he tells you that by virtue of that, all your problems are gone. And you believe the person. You recall that even as recently as about 2-3 months ago, we convicted one of the pastors for assaulting two teenagers. In his church. The person was convicted and fined. And we have to stop this. Look, you go and see some of them exhibiting without shame opulence of the highest order, riding cars that even when I came to London, I haven't seen some of them.
Yes,
in the midst of poverty. And you go and check their tax liabilities and all that, and they pay nothing to the state.
They don't pay anything to the state. This is the question.
That is so ridiculous. So I think that we are supposed to pass some rules and regulations. You see, mindful of the fact that our constitution is set to, allows for religious freedom. Does not mean that we should sit and allow people to exploit.
But it's been abused now.
It's been abused.
It's been abused.
I agree. It's been abused because
the people are at their mercy.
That is it. And they are not forced to go there anyway. They go there on their own. And because of our position that. In law, that says in Latinic expression, voluntae non fit injuria, that a man cannot complain of an act to which he himself has consented. You have these things going on. You go, they consent to some of the things that are happening there. They are horror things, but they consent to it. So what we are going to do is to make sure that if there is a lacuna in our legislation, we try to legislate and make sure that we fill in these gaps and bring in certain laws to meet the changing times. So that it will serve as deterrence. Otherwise, look, the next moment, a pastor can deceive his whole congregation to drink DDT to go to heaven.
Yeah, and
if we don't take care, it can
yes.
happen. Because it's a gradual and systematic, concerted period of brainwashing. When they reach a certain stage, they tell them, do anything, they will do it. But why are we in that situation? We are in that situation because we've taught our people to believe in miracles rather than hard work. But the Bible itself that people are using makes it very clear that if you don't work, you will eat.
But Minister of Gender could look into this, and then for protection.
Yeah, I agree. The vulnerable.
Yeah,
you see, most of these churches, if you go, about 19 to 95% of those who are abused are women.
Yes.
Yes, because they are vulnerable. Women and children, they go there and they are subjected to all forms of abuses. They lose their dignity and humanity. All in the name of religion.
Well, in Wabre, but you already overcall last question said, Auditor's General report suggests that the government paid 1 million to Crow Associate for non-performance. Can you advise who supervised the contract awarded to Access Recovery Agency? Crow, because 1 million, it seems like you who need Pakra was signing. So, how is it going to move forward?
You see, what we're going to do as an Attorney General Department will be to set in place an investigation machinery to establish the actors. First of all, we have to establish that the payment was effective.
Yes.
Because these are reports. When we establish that payment was effected, we'll then take the next step to establish who authorized that payment. And what were the documents available at the time that the payment was authorized, that the person saw to convince himself or herself before signing it. And then also, we will look beyond that to find out what was the reason. When we have gathered all these and something is missing, then we can then trigger a process to charge people appropriately. I've seen that reportage in a number of media portals.
Yes.
But that does not constitute enough basis to proceed to court until you have investigated and established your facts as they are.
Okay.
So we will follow up on the matter, and then the truth will prevail in the end.
Well, yeah, better was it be brave, and yeah, people will have for long. Who too quiet. Now, who message me, your audience around the world and the Ghana community are almost here programming. Because I call Ghana, I call baby Kodidi, and over to your home here. I believe some are watching it around.
Well, I want to assure our listeners across the globe and in London that the government of His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo is doing its bit and best to ensure that Ghana grabs that enviable position it used to occupy in Africa. And I want to assure everybody that they should contribute their quota in diverse ways to the development march that we are pursuing. I know that next year and next 2 years, the Ghanaian economy is going to take a different trend altogether. One of the reasons being that, we've discovered more oil, and these wells are being prepared, and some of them are due to bring out oil in commercial quantities to the market in 2021 and thereafter. So we're going to have many more wells coming on board, and so the economy is going to be buoyant, and we'll make sure that the development march is in such a manner that those who will not come home after 7-8 years, when they come, they will marvel at whatever they are going to see. Because the president has said it time and again that he wants that long after he's gone, people should say that during his time, Ghana worked again. And that is the message that all of us as appointees preach every day, that we leave behind a legacy to remember forever. I can assure all of you, the government is in control, the country is secured, development is guaranteed, it's holistic, the economy is growing, okay? We are one of the fastest growing economies in the world this year. And then apart from that, as I said, the agri sector is buoyant, education is progressing steadily, the health sector is improving, the infrastructure in terms of road network is massive, expansion in rural electrification, and etc. By and large, we are not there yet, but I can assure you that we are marching very fast towards the promised
Well,
land.
you see about ending, and I will close off. But however, the NDC was saying, say, we are the growth, you know, at the moment, you know, we struggle as a country, we are in hardship and everything. However, we are different in terms of perspective and what the government is doing.
Yes. But I have said this, and then let me repeat it, maybe for the last time today, that I don't expect NDC to praise us. I've repeatedly said that. Otherwise, what would be the reason why they will vote them? They have a presidential candidate.
Yes.
So, but they can continue to do that. See, if you tickle yourself and laugh, and the reality dawns on you, you will end up frowning. I have said that the people of Ghana will judge us. You know, the reality will dawn on everybody. Look, once upon a time we had a President Mahama. Yeah. There was a reason why he was voted out. There was a reason.
Yes.
And His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo has come to perform all the wonders. Anybody can say anything, but on the 7th of December next year,
yes,
at the close of poll, the reality will dawn on people, and they will know that all along they have been tickling themselves and laughing.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Honorable.
Thank you so much, my brother.
Yeah, thank you very much. Now, at here for just remember your program here. You say, don't go away. You know, Lady Dash, Eba, or to this program. And after this program, no, you are watching Omega Live TV. Now, Omega Live, you have sponsorship every Omega House. Omega House is sponsor in everything. Now, say we hear any videoing. We hear party now. We hear video, and I say we hear photography, invitation card, anything that we hear. And I say we hear now. We hear invitation card, videoing, anything that we hear. No gift items. To grab. We hear be a bit my amount. And contact us. Don't forget to contact us. So we hear any of these things. Yada masibebre. Yada ubia say more money ya program throughout yada mase and now more mobile watching later on no to yada mase and I feel so no yada honorable say Joseph Penka I say yeah yada wasibebre. Thank you very much, honorable.
I'm privileged to meet wonderful people like you.
Yes.
And God bless you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, honorable, for your time for us tonight. Thank you. Yada Jobedu so I say. And sister Dan so as Thank you very much. Thank you and God bless you. Thank you. Thank you.